Appalachian Mountains suck. They're full of drugs, they're full of meth, they're full of cocaine, they're full of hillbillies, but they aren't full of tornadoes, and that's the best thing about them. In 2024, West Virginia received just about 18 tornadoes, which is actually a new record since the year 1998. Compared to a state like Texas, who receives over 150 tornadoes annually, that's pretty hard to believe. I mean, America has the most tornadoes every year, so what makes Appalachia any different? What you didn't think about was the geography. Unless you did, then I apologize. Now, the Appalachians are a completely distinct and different region than the rest of the United States, of course, as the Midwest and the plains, they're all flat. The Appalachian Mountains are one of the least flat areas in the United States you could possibly find, maybe beyond the Rockies or somewhere in Alaska, I don't know. Now, what considers Tornado Alley is a different question. Tornado Alley could be in portions of Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, Illinois, Nebraska, Iowa. It's really hard to say because everyone's going to tell you something different. What is the truth, though, is that the Appalachian region is nowhere to be found in this list. However, there is a divide between the Rocky Mountains and the Appalachian region, and that is simply because of the geography again. Compared to the Rocky Mountains, the Appalachian Mountains have a very close proximity to the Atlantic coast as well as the Gulf of Mexico, which accounts for other disasters such as flash flooding, which actually is a prevalent issue in the region, coming from someone who lives there. Flash flooding is a major issue when it comes to hurricanes, when it comes to derechos, however you say that word. Huge storm systems, when they come in, they can wipe out communities. Just look at Hurricane Helene in 2024 and what it did to the area between, let's say, North Carolina and Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia. That region was severely impacted, and I don't think I've seen anything like it from my personal time living here, which is my entire life. So the reason that flooding happens instead of tornadoes is simply because, again, let's tie back in the mountain region. See, flash flooding is such an issue because the rain flows down into the valley from the mountains, and when this happens, it slowly elevates and rises up. That's the reason that flooding is so much more of a problem than tornadoes. Tornadoes, let's think about how the wind resistance of the mountains works on this, right? As a storm comes over, let's say it does meet supercell characteristics and it has a possible chance for a tornado, right? This tornado is going to be severely affected by the region it's in. If a tornado tried to touch down in this region, the wind resistance is going to make it very hard for it to actually come down to the ground. It's going to likely hover as a funnel cloud or stay above, and it wouldn't be as dangerous, so it is a rather safe area according to tornadoes. But that doesn't mean it's impossible. In the 1940s, there were two F4 tornadoes that touched down in northern West Virginia during the Appalachians outbreak of the time. During that time, it was thought that the Appalachians were completely safe from tornadoes because it was a rumor or a myth that the mountains were absolutely free of them. But that was proven wrong when the tornado outbreak came through. As a West Virginia native myself, I'm glad this has never happened since, and no tornado has ever been that strong since then. But that doesn't mean it's not possible. Now, generally speaking here, an F4 tornado is bad, but it's not as bad as some of the other areas of the United States have seen. Go ask Oklahoma, specifically Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City has seen worse tornadoes than anywhere in West Virginia has in its entire lifespan. Unless there is something undocumented in like the 1600s that I have no idea about. Oklahoma City has seen multiple EF5 and F5 tornadoes. That is insane. Tying Tornado Alley back into this information, you all know that the cold air from the Rockies, the dry air that also comes from Canada's way, and the warm air from the Gulf of Mexico all combine and converge, which makes the Tornado Alley right around that Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas, and all that region, right? So the reason that the Appalachians aren't affected by tornadoes that much is simply because of the rugged terrain. As I said originally, who would have believed it? In the area that Tornado Alley is in, it's flat. That is usually what characterizes strong tornado potential in the region. It's a really strong booster, if you could call it that, or it's just something that doesn't have something against tornadoes, I don't know. It's only a bigger issue that there's a geographical boost, because if the land wasn't flat, the tornadoes would probably not be as bad as they are. If Oklahoma was a mountain state, I highly doubt there would be as many monster EF5s as there are. With this in mind, tying this back into the flooding issue of the Appalachians as well, Oklahoma is a state that doesn't experience as much flooding for this reason. They don't have valleys for the water to come into because it's all flat. So all they have to worry about is tornadoes. Maybe earthquakes. I have no idea earthquakes and statistics. I don't really look into earthquakes. I'm a tornado person. That's what I like to study. But I can tell you one thing, and that's that the area will always be prone to tornadoes, and it will only get worse as global warming does. Maybe that will also change the Appalachian region. It will bring more tornadoes to the region. That's just a natural cause and effect. But that doesn't mean that it's going to be any different geographic wise. It's always going to be an issue with the geography. You can't change a mountain and make it flat. That's just impossible. I mean, come on now. Another major factor that affects the statistics are the socioeconomic statistics of the area. Appalachian region in itself is a rather poor area compared to other places nationally. And the communities within Appalachia are typically low funded. They have few people. Most of the people don't even have access to basic health care needs. Just go to McDowell County in West Virginia. That is a horrible area in terms of socioeconomic factors. It's actually rather depressing, and I wish that there could be something done about it. Although there aren't many tornadoes in McDowell County, the other issues still would make, if there were a tornado, it would be a lot worse, simply because recovery and the houses, they're not meant to sustain that. They're gonna just sweep away. They're gonna flood. They're gonna fly away in the flood because these places they're built in the valley where the river is. Because most of these West Virginian towns or Appalachian towns in general are built on little tiny rivers or creeks, as Welch is, the capital of McDowell County. The same can't really be said for Oklahoma for that reason, as there aren't really any valleys or mountains even. Just similar to Kansas, it is gradually increased as you go west, but that doesn't have any real effect geographic-wise on tornadoes. So in summary, the tornadoes in the Appalachian region don't happen as much simply because of the wind resistance in the area. This doesn't mean it's not prone to other types of storms, but it does mean that tornadoes are generally less likely to form, which means the Appalachian region is generally less likely to be a threat or to be threatened from it. Although the same can't be said for other regions of the United States, one thing the other regions of the United States don't have are valleys, which are why floods are rather an issue in the Appalachian region. Thank you guys for watching this video. This is my first real form of a long video ever. And I really wanted to make something that I felt like would fit my passion because every time I've tried this, it's not really felt like it's who I am as a person. Now, this probably isn't a very high quality video, and I'm telling you this before editing it, so this is where I'm coming from, right? I'm busy. I have school. I stay after school. I do a lot of programs. But I always want, my highest priority with doing this is to entertain people like you. And if you watch to the end, I would be very surprised. If you see this clip, I will bet you $20. I'm broke. I don't have $20. But I would bet $20 that you skip to the end to see what is here. And if you did, don't feel ashamed because I do the same thing. Thank you for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you want more content like this. And I will see you in the next video. Tell me if you want more videos like these. Bye bye.